All right, so I don't know if it was a design flaw or what, but I made the dimension between the left and right of my cabinet exactly 32 inches, and this TV is exactly 31 3/4 inches wide, so it does not fit past my glue box or my battens. So I need to take the case apart and see if I can actually trim this down a bit. I think there's going to be probably 1/2 inch or an inch clearance on the sides here, so I'm going to take it apart and see. And while I'm at it, I'm probably going to take the external side controls for volume and on and off and things like that off anyway, so that we can put it outside the cabinet so we can control it. It's gonna be really tight. It's just a touch over 30 inches, but I can make that work. So we're gonna take the monitor out of the plastic case, and that'll actually get probably the screen another 1/4 inch closer to the monitor bezel, so that way it's not looking too deep inside the cabinet as well. So it's probably a good thing that we're doing this anyway. Well, and if you needed some speakers, you could take these out and remount them in your speaker shelf. These are 6 ohms. Probably not the greatest things, but they were loud enough. So if you needed speakers, there's some free speakers too. So we're having an issue here. When we put the control panel up, this edge is wanting to hit right here on the side of the cabinet. And you can see it's got to go a little bit more to get back of the control panel. It's about 7/16. So since the front has a nice little radius, I thought instead of just leaving it square on the end, we could kind of match that radius, and it looks like it actually will clear if I do that. So that's the next step, and I think the slitting that we did for the T-molding is deep enough that even with taking that off the corner, I don't even have to redo that, but I'll have to check that once I do that. So I'll have to do that. So I've got the braces in to hold the monitor. I think this is going to work perfectly fine. It's probably even overkill. This thing's secured in here nice and tight. And switch up to the front here real quick. And that thing looks beautiful. Probably one thing, maybe just turn it on and get it turned on, see if it's actually being blocked by any of the bezel here. It's quite possible it could be cutting off or something, but I've made some room in there so I can center it, etc. So now on to the speaker grill. I think these look pretty good. I was thinking originally it might look better if we had the same space here and here and here and kind of like centered it out. But I did that and it kind of doesn't make sense. They're left and right speakers. If we put them too close together, it's just going to sound from the same source. So put a little bit here and just make sure that they were all measured out and even around. And I think that'll look awesome. So I'm going to take these covers off and punch the hole for the speakers. That's looking pretty cool. Coin door in my arcade, that's pretty awesome. So let's go pull this up onto the arcade cabinet now. Alright, so I'm going to put the coin door in, and just looking at these little tabs here, right here. Basically, got to cut a hole for this size right here, and then they've got these little like brackets that you can bolt in. And what a great, ingenious way of designing these. There's actually a little step on it. So if you put it like this will clamp a little bit deeper. So that's meant for 5/8 thick MDF arcade cabinets. Or you can put the screw in the other hole here, turn it around, and then that will hold 3/4 inch thick. So I flipped these all around, and I'm going to install these right now. This is seriously so cool. Coin door locks. Might have to adjust that a little bit. Open it up for servicing. Pretty cool. Oh, this is looking pretty cool. I can't wait. I might even pretty quickly here just start putting some stuff in here so I can see what it looks like. But that's coming along. Looks pretty good. Let's look at the backside. All right, there's the VESA mount all mounted up. I just have 3 wood screws, like 1.5 inch long wood screws, and this thing is rock solid. It's not going anywhere. It's probably the strongest thing in the whole cabinet. Moving on to the next thing, which is the back here. All right, so now it's time to cut the hinge for the back of the cabinet. This is called piano hinge. You can get it at your local hardware store. And this is in 6 feet. I need 5 feet, and I need to save 1 foot for the top of the control panel. So this piano hinge, the way it works is you've got these little separations. Let's see if I can get this for you. Right there, this little bit. So whenever you are cutting these down, don't cut in between those lines. Try to cut right on one of those hinge lines. Otherwise they tend to fall apart. So I got to cut out 5 feet, closest to whatever one of those cracks is, and file it up and screw it and attach it to the cabinet. Alright, so now that we've got the piano hinge on, and this thing is still kind of together because we didn't cut through here on the corners on all 4. So now that this is secured, hopefully this works. I've never tried it before. I saw it on YouTube and it seems cool. So apparently if I go in here with a jigsaw and just cut back out to the edges, make everything meet, boom, I've got a swinging door that's perfectly gapped and everything. But we'll have to see once we cut this out. All right, so change your plans. COVID-19, coronavirus is messing with everyone's lives right now, including mine, and I have no access to the workshop. So we are now going to transition to a Way of the Wrench at-home edition, and we'll just see how long it lasts. But we're going to continue on and probably try expanding out and doing some other stuff more related to cars very soon. But first thing we're going to do is start using the jigsaw and cut out the corners here to get this door loose, so let's get on that. So I'm cutting out these bottom corners first because if this door decides to hang a little bit lower, it might pinch my blade when I'm cutting, so I'm doing the bottom first. That way when I do the top next, it won't actually ever pinch if it does that. Didn't pinch at all. Well, we've got it cut out. Hard to say if it's sagged a little bit. I'm pretty sure it did sag a little bit, but I mean the MDF is also kind of a little bit funny that way anyway. But it's good enough for what I'm doing. So the door's there. Now all I got to do is basically sand some of this so that the gap is even and it looks good, and move on from there. Nothing fancy here, just 3 screws, put the blocks in, put them in the corners. Got the block in here now, and now that sits nice, doesn't go in, it's nice and flush. So I'm setting up for these utility door locks. I'm going to put this on the back hatch. It's probably very similar to what I'm going to put on the control panel. So I'm going to lay out, drill the hole and mount this right now. Because I'm out of my element and I'm not in the shop, I don't have a chisel to be able to get this out, so I'm just going to use a Dremel tool with a little cutoff disc. You can see right here this little bit that I got to take out just in order for the latch to swing in past. So I'm doing that right now. Next thing I want to add to this cabinet is some through holes in through the shelf so I can get wires and things passed into the bottom area if I need to. So I'm going to pop in some big holes with a hole saw. So what I've done is basically laid out the line for the edge of the control panel so that it's even and centered on the machine. And I just laid out the thickness of the 5/8 MDF and then the thickness of the 1-inch batten in between inside there. So now I have basically picked two spots here where I'm going to be able to drill a hole through for our bolts to mount our control panel. So we're going to do that right now. Maybe 2 screws would have been enough. I'm going to put the 4 in just in case, because it's kind of just like in the middle, but man, this thing's already pretty solid. So we got the control panel bolted down to the main cabinet, and I think it's super strong. Like I can literally lift the cabinet with this, and if I lean on it, which players are going to be doing, it seems okay to me. Cool, we got the hinge for the control panel on now. Now I can access it to be able to undo the bolts and take it to someone else's house, or if I need to do any maintenance work, etc. Next up is one of these door lock kits, and we're going to be putting that right here on the control panel so that nobody can just lift it up and take off with all the stuff. Alright, I want to keep going here and drilling some holes. I'm so close to getting this video done and I get this cabinet complete, but it's 9:30 at night and I probably shouldn't be drilling holes, so I'm going to very quietly try to drill some holes. And we'll see if this works or not, I don't know. I'm not sure that was quiet. We'll have to see. Hey Chew, this one's for you. I'm finally holding a wrench in one of my videos. Next up, I've got to drill a big hole here to be able to put the volume knob and the Bluetooth and the on-off for the 2.1 Bluetooth sound system. So I'm going to be using a big hole saw here plug that through, and then I'm gonna have to make some way for this to mount inside after. Alright, here we go. This thing is finally pretty much almost done. Last little couple things, I have installed absolutely everything in this to double check that if I have to have any access holes or things like that. So doing things like drilling little holes so that I can use a TV remote in case I need to access the TV for whatever reason. Probably put some Velcro and put it on up here out of the way so you don't see it. And I've also drilled a little hole here to be able to basically stick a small key of some sorts or something small to basically have access to the power on and off of the Raspberry Pi if you needed to. And then, so this is going to be the first start up here and see what it looks like. Okay, we've got power to our Bluetooth sound system. It's now blue, so that means it's synced to my phone already. There goes the Raspberry Pi for the digital marquee. There goes the monitor for the Raspberry Pi 3B Plus in here, starting up RetroPie. For now, this is just going to be the terminal. I don't have anything set up for that yet. That'll be next video. Okay, while this is starting, I can show you the Bluetooth stereos. So this could be playing off my phone as well as the game music while it's going on and all the sound effects. So if you want to listen to tunes while you're playing game, you can do that. Right, that's a wrap on yet another video from Way of the Wrench. I hope you're enjoying this series and getting lots out of it. If you have any questions about how I did this during this video, feel free to comment down below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Up next for this, the next video is going to be basically getting this thing ready for paint. So taking all the electronics apart, filling some holes, sanding it, and primer sealer with some MDF paint and some top coat, probably some T-molding as well. So very cool, very exciting. So if you enjoyed the video, give me a like, and hell, why not subscribe, and you'll know when our next video comes out if you click the little post notification bell. All right, until next time, take it easy.